thank you for clicking on this video about genitals. You've probably got a set yourself. So yes, this is a video about genitals of various things. It's a compilation of old clips from some of my arcade challenge videos where I run out of things to talk about on the games themselves because they're old, crusty, boring games, and I talk about genitals instead. That's how these things go, isn't it? Not for most people. Ah, well. So yes, please stay tuned. There will be another set in another 50 subscribers time, but if you want to look at the first volume, that'll be at the end of the video, or even at that link right up there. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Here's the next set of 10. And what better animal to pick than, of course, the most famous animal in the franchise, Scorpion. He's not really a scorpion, he's a big fiery skeleton, but he is called Scorpion. That's the tenuous link we're going with today. And let me tell you about scorpion mating, because I'm sure you're dying to know. It's actually quite fascinating. So what's in it for the scorpion gets laid? How is this for courtship? Receptive females produce pheromones which are picked up by wandering males using their pectines to comb the substrate. Now, I don't know what that is. I've lost my first credit there. I don't know what that is at all, but sounds pretty hot, doesn't it? You know, I don't know about you, but my little trouser general is standing to attention. I think. So, male courtship, when they obviously pick up these pheromones, what they do is they approach the female and they sort of rock back and forth with no leg movement. Not so much dad dancing as soon to be dad dancing, if you like. Apparently that's called juddering, and I usually do that after I've had sex. That's too much information and I apologise profusely. They perform a dance together called the Promenade à deux, a walk for two. Doesn't that sound lovely? And they touch claws and they move back and forth face to face as a sort of courtship ritual. This can go on for hours. And they even touch mouths. Who knew scorpions kissed? Isn't that the sweetest thing you've ever heard? Then they flip round and they touch tails together. They indulge in some kinky sexual sting. I mean, fair enough, whatever you're into. And then the male stings her in a way that subdues her. Dude, that's a bit rapey. He then wanks off onto a rock, not using his claw, I would imagine, and drags the slumbering lady scorpion over said rock and sort of rubs her junk over it. Oh, and sometimes after sex, one of them might eat the other one. So it started off very romantically, at least. I guess that's the same thing with any marriage, fellas? Yeah, so scorpions. Also, they give birth rather than lay eggs, which I find surprising. I thought they would lay little eggs, and these horrendous little animals made out of swords, scissors, and cat o' nine tails, these little weapon beasts, would emerge from eggs because it's more disturbing that way. But no, they give birth in a mammalian way, which again is sort of sweet, even though they're terrifying to look at. So, octopuses then. Males devote a long time looking for the right mate, while females typically become less active. Males will be attracted to an undersea pheromone musk that the lady shark releases, and that will attract the male towards her. But thankfully for the male, lady octopuses aren't particularly picky. So if you're an Argo and you find a Natalie Portman octopus, you're right in there. Oh, to be a male octopus. Well, I say that until you find out what else might happen. You see, there's I wouldn't say an equal chance, but there's a fair chance that the lady octopus will either have sex with you or just eat you. So that's a bit of a rough day. Maybe I don't want to be an octopus at all. I don't know, maybe... Depends how horny I get, I suppose. The males will approach the lady and they will display their tentacles. They've got like a larger one in the middle. which lets them know that it's not another lady octopus, so there's no embarrassing sapphic occasions for them. Who doesn't like an accidental lesbian? And he will also change his colour to a darker or lighter hue, depending on what the lady octopus is into. Now, that is some skill as we approach the octopuses now. Hello, we're talking about you. So what will happen then is he will... Oh, by the way, watch this. This is why the graphics on this don't quite work for me. So, yeah, when he approaches the lady octopus, he will also, as well as changing his colour, he will flash black and white stripes across his body, indicating that he's well up for it. The man-topus, as we'll call him, is understandably a bit cautious in case he gets eaten, and so will mate at a distance or far from a gob as possible. I think we've all done that. So where's an octo willy? Well, they have a specific tentacle called a hectoclotis, which has a special ejaculation shooting tip. So what I'm saying is basically be careful when you escort an elderly blind octopus across the road. Please make sure you don't grab the wrong tentacle. It could get awkward, messy, or a mixture of those two things. So what can I tell you about dolphins? Well, let's first talk about the genitals, and then we'll go into their more exotic sex lives. So male dolphins, they have a prehensile penis. Now, if you're not familiar with the term prehensile, it means they can move it like an arm, so they can literally grab things with it. I mean, that is something I really want. Lord, if you're looking down upon me and you give me another chance, don't make me a dolphin, just make me a human with a prehensile penis. Sometimes when I'm in the supermarket, I don't have carrier bags. I try and stack everything up. I don't want to pay the 5 now 10p charge. So, you know, if I could just sort of unzip my fly and, you know, I don't know, hold the milk, you know, that handle on the milk, on the plastic bottle of milk, I mean, that would help out. And also, like, sometimes it's, you know, it's easier to change the buttons on the remote with just your penis, isn't it? So yes, they've got like a prehensile penis. What else can I tell you about the sex life of dolphins? Well, they're much like the ducks from a previous episode. They're a bit rapey. So you see these dolphins, you see Flipper. You know, I don't know if anyone's seen Flipper in years. I would imagine Flipper is dead, but people always look at dolphins and think, oh, they're such intelligent, lovely animals. I love a dolphin. And you see, you know, little girls walking around with little dolphin pendants and little dolphin toys, and they're lovely, aren't they? Well, they're well rapey. You're carrying a rapist around with you on your bloody Elizabeth Duke chain, you idiot. So what they do, they're not just rapey, they hang around in rape gangs, right? They follow the poor lady dolphin around, and, you know, they swim round her, they don't let her go anywhere, she gets tired, she gets frightened, she gets hungry, and then she's weak, and then they do their terrible dolphin things, and nature's horrible. Stay inside, everyone. Even the nicest looking creatures in the sea are arseholes. Just stay inside your house, play on your Mega Drive Classic or your Super Nintendo or whatever. Don't bother with it. You know, nothing good will come of it. Definitely don't go near the sea. Have you seen some of the stuff down the bottom of the sea? All horrible. So what else is there? Well, you know what? I've given dolphins a bad rap now. But some of them are actually quite romantic. So the male dolphin will occasionally, I say occasionally, he's probably more likely to do this and rape someone. I don't know. I don't know dolphins that well. Never met one. But he will woo the lady dolphin, if he's not in a rapey mood, apparently, with weeds he finds at the bottom of the sea. So almost like buying a lady flowers on a first date, which is lovely. Just lady dolphin, just keep an eye on the background. If there's like other dolphins behind him, stay away. Keep your phone on you. Ring another lady dolphin to let her know you're okay. And if you feel at any point uncomfortable, excuse yourself, go to the undersea toilet and climb out of the undersea window, and then you never have to worry about him again. you can block him on dolphin Facebook. I don't know how you do that without a hand, but dolphin social media is not what it was. That's a difficult thing to say. So going back to them being arseholes again. So male dolphins, they can commit infanticide. They can kill their own child. And do you know why they can kill their own child? Why they choose to kill their own child? Because the lady dolphins aren't horny while they've got young children, because they don't feel the need to reproduce. So yeah, male dolphins again letting down the whole of the male side of the animal kingdom again. So they kill their own children so the missus gets horny again. I can probably say quite safely that would not work in human life. The male dolphin there, he should just go off, and have, one off the flipper, which they can do. So yes, dolphins wank. Yes, they can use their flippers, but also remember they had that prehensile penis. They've also got another method as well. So what they can do is and this is a sentence, they use their prehensile penis and they tangle an eel around their member, and obviously the eel's not keen on this, and he thinks he's in danger, so he sort of struggles and tries to get away, and that is quite exciting to a male dolphin. So they're not just sort of raping their own, they're raping other species and killing their children. And Christ, are these the most effed up animals in the history of animals? Like, the amount of love they get off people, of how intelligent they are and how smart they are, and how that little smile they've got. They are the worst. Dolphins are the worst animals in the world. They're killing children, they're wanking off using eels, and they're raping lady dolphins after buying them flowers. So yeah, I'm not convinced that I ever want to hang around with dolphins ever again. There was actually an incident of a female researcher into dolphins. She researched a bit too deeply. She was sacked from her research facility after developing a sexual relationship with a dolphin. Yeah, and apparently the dolphin was very heartbroken by this, and he died. Just like Revenge of the Sith, only sort of replace Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman with a woman who likes dolphin dick. So that's sort of romantic. Yes. What can we do? Well, around this time, England had a terrific world-class striker called Alan Shearer. Alan Shearer, who the following year when this came out became the Golden Boot winner. So I thought, Shearer, sheep. So today's genital fact of the week is about sheep. Yeah, it's 10 years old. So other than humans and bonobos, sheep are one of the few animals that can pair up in a same-sex relationship for life. Yes, your jumper may come from a gay sheep. Most of you won't have a problem with that. Some of you probably shouldn't really have a problem with that, but it's up to you, I guess, you weirdo. Male sheep's scrotums, certain ones, especially Himalayan sheeps, they can come in 3 varieties. And who wouldn't like multiple varieties of scrotums? I sometimes look at my plain, boring scrotum and go, that could be improved. And how could it be improved? Well, I don't know if necessarily improves it. Well, you can either have a standard scrotum like you and I have. You can have a partially split scrotum, where a testicle nestles gently in the top of each. Or you can have a fully split scrotum. I don't know if the choice is necessarily yours as a sheep, but you could. Oh, penalty. Ooh. So yes, so if you're a sheep, you can have multiple types of scrotums. So let's just wait for this penalty kick before we continue the genital facts. And we've scored it. By the way, I think the person who scores this is called like Van Gogh or something. Let's see. Yes. Did it right. Lost his ear. Can you get sent off for cutting off a man's ear in football? Probably. And the sheep's penis, of course we have to mention that, is kept inside its body for most of the time. So that's probably why, if you've ever turned up a sheep upside down to look at his penis to find out what sex it is, why are you doing that? But also you probably wouldn't find it. It keeps it inside, which is an excuse that I use when people look at my groin area in my trousers, along with, I usually say, why are you looking at the groin area in my trousers? So I usually use that, or it's cold. One of the two. Got to kind of excuse the size of my genitals when people look at them. So yeah, that's another game done. There's Odo from Star Trek. Really looks like him. What a freaky looking dude. But yeah, so it made it quite tricky for me this week because I couldn't even bring out like a footballer's name like Shearer like I did last week. But what I decided to do is, let's mix it up a bit. Let's talk about robots' genitals, because it's all very silvery and robot-y this. So I went with Chinese sperm extracting robots. So yeah, available for just £5,000. Some Chinese hospitals feature sperm extractors. You line them all up in a row. Lovely. According to Jiangsu Medical Science, the makers of the sex extractor, the machine can simulate a vaginal environment through massage, through twitching, sucking and vibration for men who find they can't or don't want to masturbate themselves. So you do it in a corridor, apparently. Right next to someone, like you're using a urinal. I can't even use a urinal when I'm next to someone. Honestly, these people are crazy. You can adjust the height of the machine, the speed, the force and the warmth. Hopefully someone washes it out. I presume they do. They've been made because the Chinese government has fears of a looming semen shortage as men are becoming less confident about visiting the sperm bank. This would not make me more confident about it. If it was in a booth, you know, I mean, how ridiculous. Sexy Daleks. Is China off the amber zone? I've got funny, I've got a funny feeling I need to go over there for some reason. I don't know. I mean, it could be for any reason. How much are those machines again? There's some on Alibaba apparently. Could be an investment. Excuse me, that's a cough. Tortoises then. Tortoises are pretty well hung. A 20 centimetre long tortoise will genuinely have a schlongbanger 8 centimetres long. I mean, who doesn't, eh? But these penises, they're not really lookers. The organ is either black, purple or grey and has an expanded head with a spine on top of it. Now, if you're looking for a visual clue of what this looks like, you could either go onto Google or you can just listen to me and say it looks a bit like that alien snake from the movie Prometheus. You know, the one that's the really clever scientists prod with pens and then it attacks them even though they're afraid of everything else in that movie. Prometheus is shit. Let's just remind ourselves of that. And obviously tortoises' penises are usually well concealed in its pie-like shell. It makes sense when you consider that lady tortoises are basically need a tin opener to get into them for you to get any action. So yes. So my genital fact of the week will consist of facts about deer penises. Deer penis. I'm writing to tell you I'm going to be talking about you. Deer penis is said to have very therapeutic properties in China and Vietnam. I lost my first credit there. I literally just got as far as that to die so I could talk about deer penis. The Taiwanese believe that if you consume deer penis while pregnant, it will make the mother fatter and therefore the baby stronger. I mean, if you eat enough penis, I'm sure it does make you fatter. You have to look at certain cancer states for that. Hippocrates, not to be confused with hypocrites, of course, it was a Greek physician of the 4th century BC, and he swore blind that deer penis would help resolve any sexual difficulties. Well, you say that, I don't think the deer would agree. I think having its penis eaten probably makes a lot more sexual difficulties for it. During the Olympics in 2008, China banned deer penis wine. That's deer penis wine. Because it was felt to enhance the strength of their athletes, and therefore it joined steroids as a banned supplement. So don't go out in the Olympic Village, maybe even this year, expecting you're going to get a nice glass full of deer penis wine, everybody. Deer penis wine, worth saying again. Mayans were known to eat roast penis. I mean, it's the best way to cook penis, isn't it? I don't know. What's the last fact I've got for you about deer penises? Well, the elk, well, they're known to cover themselves in piss because this makes them more attractive to lady deer. And it works as well because some elks have harems of 20 cows in them. So the next time you're in a pub and you're chatting a girl up, and you go to the toilet and a little droplet of piss just kind of soaks your beige chinos or whatever, don't feel too upset. You can end up leaving that pub with 20 ladies. You never know, it could work. Just piss all over your trousers. Basically, take your trousers off, stuff them in the urinal, urinate on them, go out, they'll be all over you. That's my top sexual tip of the day. And the genital fact this week is about the very first creature you encounter in the game, which is, of course, the snail. So the snail, how does snail reproduction work? Do we want to know this? Why, yes, we do. Garden snails have both sets of reproductive cells, meaning they are hermaphrodites and can reproduce asexually. That's my excuse too. This, I mean, probably they have to be hermaphrodites because, you know, dates are hard enough to come by. If you're going to be late for each one, late to that lettuce leaf, you know, well, it kind of makes sense. Courtship, if they do meet another snail, consists of stabbing each other with a love dart, much like you did to Becky in Year 9 at your school disco around her waist area. The love dart, or gypsibellum, is stabbed indiscriminately into the flank of the other hermaphrodite snail. This injects more male hormones to prevent new snail sperm from being killed during copulation, because it's all about passing on your genes, you selfish git. Then each snail puts their penis, because remember, they've got both sets, into each other's vaginas. Now, I know this might sound a bit strange. That sounds really hot, doesn't it? Imagine if you had both sets of genitals. You'd be having like double the orgasm. Surely that's a good thing, and snails are winning at life, apart from that whole thing of getting scooped up by sparrows. And that's that bit of the level that I hate right there. So, yes, and whoever ejaculates first gets to be daddy. That is the most high-risk version of soggy biscuit I've ever heard. Unless you come first, you're going to be left being mum. Not that being a mother is a bad thing, but it requires more work than, you know, just firing off your load and then scooching off to eat a bit of lettuce again. So let's talk about spider sex. So spider sex, yes, spider sex, more genetically successful than a T-Rex, because T-Rexes are dead. Of course, they probably would have survived longer hadn't been for a meteorite killing them. But you know what? Tiny arms probably can't masturbate. If they can't have sex, they probably get all funny. Also, so males ejaculate onto webs or onto their leg ends. So if anyone catches you masturbating, just claim you're making, love like a spider, and you're just waiting for a member of the Swedish Olympic volleyball team to turn up so you can present your chode juice to their epigynine, which is a spider's clan, or vagine, if you prefer. Female spiders can store many male spiders' sperm and filter out the one they want while ditching the ones they don't like in a sort of spider vagina in utero version of Love Island. I failed. The male orb spider will block a lady's sex hole up by plugging it up by snapping off the tip of his genitals in her lady parts. Then he can guarantee it's his seed going through to the next generation of soulless 8-legged bastards. All after 8 seconds, and that controlling behaviour, that would send some red flags to me, whether I was human, spider or Labrador. I don't know about you. Yes, many female spiders, as you probably know, will just turn around and eat the dude spider after the "how's your father?" This is because he's sort of like a post-coital pot noodle, but he's sort of snoring next to you, so they've worked it out. We haven't. Let's start with something I didn't know about, some actual facts, and then we'll get to the creepy, sad men stuff in a minute. So I didn't know the sort of definitions of what a different type of cow was. So a bull is a mature male bovine used for breeding. I knew that one, I think. He's the one that powers his way through all the lady cows. And a steer is one that has been earmarked to be steaks, and he gets neutered. So don't end up a steer if you're a cow, because you're going to end up as beef. A heifer is a female cow yet to have calves, but a bred heifer is one about to have them. See, I didn't know that. There you go. There's you got some cow knowledge there. And now we'll get to the creepy stuff. So yeah, there's quite a lot of instances of humans having sex with cows, because us humans are just huge wrong-uns, really. I can give you 3 examples from just the last 3 years. I did what I did is I went onto Google and I typed in human having sex with cow, because I seem to remember growing up there are a lot of people that had sex with animals, farm animals. They would be pigs, they'd be sheep. It was mainly poor old sheep. I don't know why they got creepy eyes, but there would always be stories in the paper that would always make me laugh, which is probably why I'm so fascinated by it now, with people having sex with animals. There was a naked pensioner called Manun Van who was 68. Yes, he was naked, and he dragged a female cow into bushes in southern Thailand before being stopped by the horrified owner in 2019. So he just turned up, no clothes on, I suppose it saves time, pulled the cow into the woods and bummed it. And it wasn't the first time either. I don't know if it was the same cow. Onto level 3, by the way. But yes, he slipped the poor old cow a crippler, and was a regular visitor to this guy's farm. Which, I don't know what, I don't know, like, how would I feel about that? As the owner, it would be appalling. As if I found out my food came from there, I'd be, I don't know, I suppose it wouldn't take the milk or the meat, I guess, but rather not have a glass of fresh milk or a steak from a buggered cow. There is a viral clip from last year, 2020, when a Nigerian man inserted his member into the anus of a cow in the north of the country, which is horrible, and I haven't watched it, but it was the second story down. I'm not going to watch it, and no, I'm not going to share it. And in early August 2021, a 20-year-old chap called Jackson Kakugu, unfortunately for him, being named in this article. This was, I don't know if you noticed, I said early August 2021. When did this video go up? Oh, this ghost guy's a bastard as well. He was caught by residents in Barango North, Kenya. And when questioned about it, he insisted that he was there to have sex with the animal and not steal the bovine. I'd be the other way around. I mean, unless their law there is if you steal a cow you die, in which case I'd probably say I was going to have sex with it. But I'd be the other way around. I'd be like, no, don't worry, I was just going to steal it without my trousers because I thought I could run quicker with it under my arm. It'd be a heavy thing to carry. Less wind resistance. I would ride the cow out. And to do that faster, I wouldn't wear my trousers. Anyway, what happened to poor old Jackson? I say poor old, I mean, dude. You know, there's no need. So yeah, when he was found, he got caned by his elders, and I presume by that they didn't get him stoned. I think they probably meant that they hit him on the back several times, and he got pardoned. Well, he'd not been pardoned if he'd been beaten for it, surely. But yeah, that's what the article said, and yeah, bad day at the cow bumming office there for Jackson Kakugu. But he's a 20-year-old lad, I'm sure he'll learn. Except he's just going to be known as the guy who bummed the cow now, isn't he, for the rest of his life? I mean, you know, the guy that poos himself in class is the guy who's always known as poo bum guy at school. So you've got to imagine that he's going to find it very hard to escape the sceptre of being the guy that did rude things to his steak before it had even died.